As someone born and raised in the sun-soaked paradise of London, it didn't take long for me to discover the benefits of staying inside. And for a suburban middle-class kid growing up in the 2000s, there were plenty of options for indoor entertainment, but no company quite commercialized childhood boredom like Nintendo. In this period, they dominated the airwaves, hypnotizing kids with promises of fun with friends, and hooked in their mums with new, innovative fitness devices that didn't involve a gym nor exercise. So I, like many others, spent my preteen years enveloped in a trance of Japanese origin, playing through all the classic turn-based JRPG staples of the Nintendo era. Think of your Pokemons, Dragon Quests, and so on and so forth. But it wasn't until I picked up Inazuma 11 for the first time that the gaming hobby I'd been hypnotized into became an actual passion. Some, like my family, might even say obsession. And just like Hentai, the tentacular hold it established for my consciousness hasn't gone away to this day. Now I'm sure most of you are thinking, what exactly is an Inazuma 11? Like healthy eating, Inazuma 11 might not be well known in the West, but it's a staple in Japan. Encompassing several TV series, countless games, movies, and merchandise. Its origins are fairly humble, stemming not from a big budget Nintendo IP, but from a new IP conceived by developer Level 5 with the first entry in the series, 2008's Inazuma 11 on the DS. Despite intense competition for the attention of the vast DS user base by the likes of Pokemon, Dragon Quest, and Zelda, this unique new IP managed to go toe-to-toe with the Goliaths of the industry, and from its success would spring forth a trilogy that defined the franchise we've come to know today. In this first outing of the Inazuma 11 series, we follow Endo Mamoru as he attempts to revive the footballing legacy of his school and become a legend with a characteristic level of charm and optimism. The original is mostly set in Raimon Academy, the school that once housed the famous Inazuma 11 football team but has since fallen from grace. But shit gets wild in next 2, as the new Inazuma 11, led by Endo, face capitalists, an alien invasion.
What's this?
And Brazilian footballers, which is tame compared to the time travel and space adventuring that happens in the next trilogy, Inazuma 11 Go. But to be honest, nothing that happens in the story of either trilogy really matters. You see, what makes Inazuma 11 special is its unique gameplay formula. Now, it's hard to describe with words alone, but if I had to, I would say that it's a unique Japanese amalgam of football, anime, magic, and strategy. For you Americans watching, I'm talking about the football with the short Argentinian guy Messi that you know actually involves kicking balls. But the easiest way to relay why Inazuma 11 deserves a second wind is by getting a little personal and delving into my Inazuma story. When I was first introduced to Inazuma 11 with the original game in 2010, I was going through a transitional period. I was facing the inevitable prospect of leaving the comfort of primary school to venture into the unknown viper's nest known as British secondary school. And at the same time, I was experiencing a classic case of middle-class malaise. Yeah, nothing was going massively wrong in my life. I wanted for neither food, nor clothes, nor anime, but also nothing was going massively right either. I was bored. Let's be real, there's only a limited number of times anyone can watch a Super Saiyan transformation or talk with other people without going the full Hunter Biden. But despite the fact that I felt like I was living in a strange interdimensional arena where space nor time operated and was desperate for any cure for my suburban angst, a reprieve eluded me. Back in the day, things were much simpler. Young, angsty teenagers from middle-class backgrounds who couldn't find their place in the world discovered themselves through crusading or colonialism, or if you're American, the Middle East. But this was 21st century Britain, so I had to stick with Nintendo. And much like entering the Holy Land in the 13th century, when I finally found Inazuma 11, it felt like a blessing from the High One himself. You see, Inazuma 11 combined all of my interests into a sleek new package, and did so with a remarkable level of flair and finesse. At the time, I was a massive football enthusiast, prolific anime watcher, and turn-based RPG aficionado. So you can imagine my excitement when I discovered Inazuma 11 combined football, RPG mechanics, and most importantly of all, was Japanese. Yes, I wasn't particularly entranced by the story. With the English voice acting, it's excruciating to get through, but the battles were another story. As I moved from arena to arena, battle to battle, I became more and more hooked. You see, not only does the battle system offer a tremendous level of tactical flexibility and challenge, but the moves known as Hisatsu or special techniques for the noobs, were never boring to watch and endlessly varied. But it gets better. You see, in any Inazuma 11 game, the end of the story is only the beginning of the game because of the extensive post-endgame Tizen route system. If I simply described how the Tizen routes operated, you wouldn't be impressed. Each competition works in a kind of tournament structure where teams are ordered in accordance to the challenge they pose, and to progress to the next one you have to beat them in order. But to truly reap the maximum reward from the Tizen, you had to win every game by 5-0 to achieve a S-class certification. And this is where the magic comes into. As I was soon to discover, the Tizen route had a life of its own. When I first completed a Tizen route match in the original Inazuma 11, the game managed to tap into an almost relentless need to perfection I didn't know I had and hooked me in. From now on, despite the monotony of what was going on around me, the fire in my heart would burn strongly until I received every S-class certification and became a true master. And I spent all my free time trying to maximize the level of every ability and equip my guys with the best, so I was ready for greater and greater challenges. But my obsession didn't stop at the original game. I became so consumed by the entire series that when it was obvious the localization would be years down the line, I bought a Japanese copy of the game and used a Google Translation doc on a website I can't find anymore, so anyone who knows let me know, to figure out how to get through the Japanese version. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. If you didn't, no refunds.